The Never Seen 17 is never going to be seen in a wrestling ring after this Saturday. We've got one date left, and that date with Destiny is against Gunther. So, we're going to do a prediction video on all 4 matches this Saturday night. It's going to be NXT and TNA versus WWE. The present day versus the future. This was actually a John Cena idea. One of the only times John Cena has ever said, what if we did this? What if we did this instead of that? He usually doesn't get in the way of creative, so much so that he was willing to turn heel in a garbage heel turn because that's what they told him to do. So John Cena kind of took control and said to Triple H, hey man, let's do this instead of that, because Triple H wanted to make it just a John Cena celebration, but John wanted to celebrate the future. Crazy, right? Looking at investing in the future of your company and storylines. Like, Triple H, take some notes. Anyways, let's get going with our first prediction. We're going to go Leon Slater, who's that? Some guy from TNA, actually, with Javon Evans versus AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. And this one's interesting because it's for the WWE Raw Tag Team titles. This title is actually on the line, where in the Cody Oba match, it's a non-title champion versus champion match. So that said, who's gonna win? I'm thinking it's actually gonna be Javon Evans and Leon Slater. Leon Slater has been been given the Joe Hendry, Jordan Grace treatment, in that they keep bringing him over and over more and more. Say, hey, wrestle in our sandbox and get people more accustomed to it. And then one day when his contract's up, it's a seamless transition. And Javon Evans, he's been showing up on the main roster more and more. He lost to Sami Zayn. He lost to Gunther. Great showing, but losses nonetheless. Therefore, they need to start giving him some W's. I think this is the perfect opportunity. AJ Styles, Dragon Lee, they're a fine tag team. They do have actually some pretty decent chemistry. Problem is, it's just awkward. There's just no reason for them to be together. And I don't think there's any long-term plans with them. I mean, to be fair, there's not really any long-term plans with most of the roster, but less even here. AJ Styles is about to go into his own retirement year, so he doesn't need to be in a tag team whatsoever. And it's like, what are they doing with the titles? Okay, yes, they do kind of have a program with the Usos, but I really don't think it's a real program. I think the Usos are they would go after anybody. If you're the champion, they're going after you. So, like, you could easily replace Usos versus Javon and Leon Slater instead of AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. So, yeah. I'm going with that shock win. Maybe a shock win. I don't know if it's a shock win. I think it could be a win. Javon just needs a couple victories, and Leon Slater, this will just be one more step into his induction into the WWE as a whole. So, yes, those guys are taking it. Then let's do our main event right now. Our main event, I'm thinking, is going to be Oba versus Cody. John Cena, Gunther, everyone's probably thinking that's going to be the main event, right? No. Apparently, rumor has it, John versus Gunther is the first match of the night. Probably so they don't pull a Goldberg and run out of time. They're going to let John Cena speak as long as he needs to after the match, and then if he goes over, they could just cut 5 minutes off here, 5 minutes off there on the matches throughout the night. So that means it has to be Oba and Cody, champion versus champion. I'm thinking, this one scares me. This one honestly scares me because Oba Femi, I love this dude. He is so freaking good and talented. And you might ask me, well, tell me a good Oba Femi match. And honestly, all of his matches are pretty good. But if you want like that 5-star classic Oba Femi match, I don't know. Boys, gals, sometimes you'll come at me and be like, I don't see the hype. Why do you like this person? Give me one good match they've done. I'm not a match guy. I love good matches. Don't get me wrong. In fact, Oba versus Javon Evans, you could say that was a great match, and it's on the Patreon for $5 a month. You can support this channel, help me keep producing videos every day of the week by supporting Patreon, and you can go watch my reaction to Javon versus Oba Femi from last night.
No, oh no, Oba, watch it! Watch out, Oba! Yeah!
Great match, right? But if you were to ask me why I like Oba Femi, I wouldn't point out that match to you. I would point out his charisma, his mic skill, his confidence, the fact that he is a babyface and yet he doesn't seem like a chump. He's not coming out there just all smiles and just saying, I respect you and gee golly. It's just, it's not him. And I like that. I like a babyface with an attitude that can back it up. Plus, he looks the part. The dude's a beast. Like, if they started booking him like they did with Brock Lesnar when Brock first started appearing, I don't think anybody would be like, no, this dude is not at the caliber of Brock Lesnar. This dude's a beast. And he can talk. He has charisma. I just like everything about him. The way he carries himself is just very much a top guy. And he's 27, so honestly, I feel like he's been in NXT for too long. He should have just came up to the main roster once he lost the North American title. Honestly, he shouldn't have even lost the North American title. He should have just said, you know what, I'm done with this. Here you go, and went right to the main roster. That said, he's fighting Cody Rhodes, and I'm very, very scared because they just love to let Cody win everything. And to be fair, Cody's the top champion, so it's like, I understand why they would want Cody to win here. I'm begging for that not to be the case. Some people will also say, you know what, don't worry, Cody, Oba Femi, he's young, he doesn't need this victory. Just being in the main event on John Cena's farewell Saturday night's main event, that's the rub enough. I say bump kiss, love that word, bump kiss, it's bump kiss. He needs the victory. He needs that victory. I don't care if we have to have Drew McIntyre come in, Claymore kick, 800 referees, and Cody Rhodes in the process to let Oba win. But Oba's gotta win. He's gotta win. We can't just keep saying he's the future and not make him the present at the same time. Just let Oba win. Pull a Kevin Owens. Remember? You might not, but when Kevin Owens first came to the main roster, he was a US champion, or he was I think he was the NXT champion or something at the time, and he went right after John Cena. And nobody thought he would win. Myself included, and then he won. And he won clean. It was crazy. It was insane. It was amazing and awesome. And a stamp of approval from John Cena saying this dude's the future, and that's what we should do here. We can honor John Cena by doing what they did to Kevin Owens and do it to Oba Femi. Look at Kevin Owens now. He became such a crucial part of the last 10 years of WWE, and it's because of how he came in, how he was treated at the beginning of his main roster tenure. And that's what we got to do with Cody, or that's what we got to do with Oba as well. We got to make him a big deal from the start. Yes, he can recover from a loss, but why do we got to make him recover from a loss? What if we just booked him accordingly? And we have the out already with Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre and Cody, they're going to wrestle again. So Cody needs to get really mad about something, and this could be it. Drew costs him a match. Oba gets the victory, and poof. So that said, that's what I wanted to happen. What do I think will happen? What's my actual prediction? Oh, man, I'm setting myself up for a world of pain. This last week when LA Knight lost, Carmelo Hayes lost, I really crashed out. And if Oba loses, this will complete the Wrestlechop heel turn. So I'm hoping that I remain a babyface, and I am going to predict Oba Femi. I already regret saying that because I just don't think he's gonna win. But I want him to win. No. I'm saying it. I'm calling it. I'm speaking it into the universe. Universe, hear me. Oba Femi is gonna win. All right, everybody together now. Oba Femi is going to win. There we go. All right. I hope the wrestling gods heard us. All right. So now let's go to yeah, Oba's gonna win. Cody's not selfish. I mean, Cody really is not selfish. I know that, but he doesn't speak up enough. He needs to start speaking up and doing what's best for business. And Oba right now is what's best for business. Okay. Let's move on. I love Oba Femi. Go check him out. I implore you, go check out Oba Femi. Just OBAFEMI in the YouTube search bar after this is done. Get used to me just praising this dude. If you hate Oba Femi, you might want to unsubscribe because this is about to become an Oba Femi channel. Every Thursday, Oba Femi video. All right, okay, anyways, sorry. We're going to do Bayley versus Sol Ruca next. Now, Sol Ruca is like, she's about to just completely catapult the women's NXT and come right to the main roster. She kind of reminds me of how they started looking at Tiffany Stratton at one point, and I think that's what's going to happen with Sol Ruca. I think she's going to give the keys to the kingdom fairly quick, and she's actually very good. She's very, very talented. And she has a really cool move. It's called the Soul Stature, where she she runs up the turnbuckle, does a flip, and then kind of gets you into an RKO. Pretty sweet, to be honest with you. Or cutter, maybe like a Cody cutter, but you did a flip. Anyways. She's beating Bayley. There's no questions about it. I would be scratching my head if it was Charlotte Flair. But when it comes to Bayley is very not selfish, and WWE doesn't really try to protect her. You know, she's like the unprotected Cody Rhodes. And so she'll be more than willing and happy to do the job to Sol Ruca, and it won't really hurt Bayley. I want them to protect Bayley's record, but I've seen it time and time again that Bayley is kind of the she's kind of the lamb to the slaughter of the main event women and the veterans of the main event women. And I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm saying that's what happens. So I see her losing to Sol Ruca. The only reason and why I think maybe Bayley actually has a chance is because Sol Ruca and Zarya is her tag team partner, best friend. They have been very much teasing a breakup in NXT for a minute now. And this week, they finally kind of became BFFs again when Sol Ruca saw that Zarya had come out to support her in the crowd. And so she went up to her and said, "Hey, you want to come and support me when I face Bayley?" And she was like, "Really? Okay, cool." So is Zarya just going to turn heel on Sol Ruca? I don't know. There's also the possibility that Lyra and Sol Ruca kind of get into it because Lyra is Bayley's best friend right now. They get into it on the outside, and that will then allow for a program to start between Sol Ruca and Zarya versus Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. So I'm thinking they're gonna Triple H likes to draw things out a little too long as well. Like the Zarya and Sol Ruca thing probably should have already came to a head. That said, something just fell in my garage. Okay, hopefully the zombie didn't get out. All right, so anyway, sorry about that. Not even sure if you heard it, but there was a big commotion over there. My office is actually kind of half of a garage. There's walls up and stuff. Anyways, that threw me off. I apologize. So Triple H usually waits a little too long to do things, and as of right now, this breakup probably should have happened a month ago. Therefore, the breakup will probably happen in 3 or 4 months, if ever. So that means Zarya won't interfere. I'm going Sol Ruca. I think this is going to be a clean sweep. The young generation are going to win everything in honor of John Cena presenting this idea. Because John Cena might have just said, "Can we just let them win everything?" And everybody's like, Sure, yeah, sure. Hopefully. You know Triple H. Someone tells him an idea, and then he'll either A, call it stupid and ignore it, or B, call it stupid and steal it quietly and make it happen regardless. All right, so anyways, now we go to the main event. We got Gunther versus John Cena. Now I wanted Oba Femi to win, be the last opponent. Trick Williams, Carmelo Hayes, and then LA Knight. Fifth was Gunther. And some people then they say, what's with all the Gunther hate? No Gunther hate. I love Gunther. Go through my channel. I love Gunther. Gunther is an amazing talent, and he's definitely worthy of this spot. I just think the stories and everything warranted someone else. That said, let's talk this match. I would have bet my house on John Cena losing up until last Friday. I think John would want to do the time-honored tradition of taking the L, taking the pin. Problem is, it's not a pin anymore. Gunther has flat out said, I am going to make you submit. That changes the dynamic of everything. It does add a lot more. Intrigue and story to the match itself, because this is the dude who never quits versus the dude who makes people quit. He also quit in 2 seconds himself at WrestleMania, Gunther that is. And I do know John Cena has tapped out 4 times in his career, but that's when he was the Doctor of Thugonomics. It was before John Cena became the guy that salutes people. So now John is never give up. Will he give up? His final match give up? Now, there's an argument to be made. In fact, maybe I'll do a video tomorrow, my one video on why John should win and why John should lose. But what do I think will actually happen? I think John's going to win. The fact that it's a submission match now, I just can't see them making John tap out and then he has to say goodbye to all the fans. It'd be different if he just lost, right? Gunther does the powerbomb, then the Rhea Ripley pin to John Cena, and that's different. That's a whole different beast than tapping out and then having to give a speech. And you could then say, that's why they didn't go with LA Knight, because they wanted John Cena to win and then have a great celebration. I think Triple H is going to do this because this is probably a weird one, but when Sting retired in AEW, he actually won his retirement match. And everybody points to that as, see, you can win on your way out. I don't think Triple H likes to hear AEW's name mentioned in a positive light. So I literally think that Triple H would do something like this, so people would no longer say, when Sting was on his way out, they'll say, when John Cena was on his way out. I do believe that Triple H is that petty, and it'll work in the favor of the fans, though. And then I also think that if Gunther loses, right, that gives Dominic Mysterio a bigger like bragging rights. It allows him to say, I'm the last guy who beat John Cena. It helps Dominic Mysterio out, ironically, or is that ironically? I don't know. It's like 10,000 spoons when all you need is a knife. Is that how that song goes? I don't even know anymore. What am I talking about? All right, so, but that said, Dominic Mysterio gets to say, I was the last guy to beat John Cena. We know John Cena loved his program with Dominic Mysterio, so it's even more giving back to Dominic, who is younger talent, under 30, and Gunther, honestly, Gunther doesn't care. I love Gunther. I really do. I don't think Gunther really cares about professional wrestling the way I like professional wrestling. Remember how I said earlier? I was like, if you ask me why I like Oba Femi, I won't tell you a match. I'll tell you about a promo he did. But Gunther would tell you about a match because he doesn't care about Oba's promos. He cares about the matches. So I think Gunther is just here to kind of collect a paycheck. I'm not saying that in a disrespectful way. I think he does love wrestling on some level, but at the end of the day, I don't think he cares. I really don't think he cares. So I think he's just going to lose. He's going to lose because they made it a submission match. if it was just a pinfall. If it was just a pinfall, I would pick Gunther. But, because it's not, going John Cena. And then boom, Gunther leaves and we have a huge celebration, and people don't have to kind of, they don't have to go through that roller coaster of like super sad and then kind of get into John Cena's speech. No, it's just they're super happy he won. He grabs the mic, he says, "I love you, goodbye, can't see me." Boom, their time is now, and then we get on the way with the show. And then Gunther on the next night on Raw, he can probably beat up Corey Graves or something and get all his heat back. So there you go. Those are my predictions for Saturday night's main event. This Saturday, we're going to do a Friday watch-along for SmackDown. We're going to do a Saturday watch-along for Saturday Night Main Event. We're going to do hot takes. We're going to have fun. And I'm not going to lie. I'm probably going to shed a tear or two. And, I just hope I don't ugly cry. John Cena, man, for real, I booed you most of your career, but I never didn't respect you. I salute you, sir. Have a good day.